The outcome of Brexit may not be certain, but one thing is clear. Your business could face serious challenges. Enterprise Ireland's wide range of supports will help you plan, innovate, compete and diversify. Speak to your Enterprise Ireland Development Advisor or visit prepareforbrexit.ie, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Welcome into Sportsmemo's betting podcast for Super Bowl 53 game breakdown and all the prop bets broken down with Teddy Covers, our NFL expert. Teddy, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Drew. How about yourself, man? Excited, obviously, as we approach the big game. And I finally come to a position where, I'm comfortable with the side. I'm comfortable with the props. The full report released later today on Tuesday over at sportsmemo.com.
Absolutely, guys. Check that out at sportsmemo.com. Teddy will release that later today. Side total pick plus prop report all in one package. Check that out at sportsmemo.com. Teddy, we got Super Bowl 53 Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. It's an exciting week. You hit over 60% for the NFL year to date. What has your kind of preparation for the game been? And any kind of advice out there to any maybe, newer sports bettors as far as the way they should handle betting the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, my process is that if this was a regular season game, I would not be involved. I spent a week thinking about this game before I was comfortable with one side or the other, and that's not normally the case. Obviously, in the regular season, I see a game like this, and you pick up bouncing back and forth a little bit. You're not sure, you put it aside. Obviously, that's not the case for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the basic advice that I have to give to everybody at this time of year is don't be stupid. It's one game. One game. I understand it's the betting holiday in the U.S. I understand everyone wants to have action and the props are fun, but it's still one game. So for as much as you like it or don't like it, it's not the time to put 80% of your bankroll in play. A bet, the expression bet with your head, not over it, is very, very real. Even if you think it's the greatest matchup in the history of matchups, it's still not smart or responsible gaming to go absolutely nuts on the Super Bowl and make every bet you can think of. It just doesn't, you won't make money that way.
Responsible bankroll management. Couldn't agree more, Teddy. It is just one game, and you want to save some money for some props, and also, hey, it's a long season. We got college basketball, NBA. March Madness is around the corner. Baseball season, whatnot. You don't want to blow all your bankroll on just one game. Teddy, we got New England, LA here. Game number 101, 102, real easy, Sunday night. It's the only game in the NFL, and we're seeing the Patriots 2.5 now, pretty much across the board. As far as Sports Memo odds page goes, nobody's really teetering off of that number of 2.5. Heritage showing a little juice on the New England side. Total now down to 56.5. Any opinion here on the line movement so far this week?
Well, let's start with the fact that there are definitely threes out there. There's a 3 at William Hill right now as we record. There's a 3 at Bovada right now as we record. There's a 3 at Sports Interaction as we record. And note all 3 of those books where you're going to find the threes. They all kick out wise guys or severely limit wise guy action. So there are the books that cater exclusively to the public. They're at 3, and they're staying at 3. They're not going down. The books that take wise guy action are not at 3. And frankly, I talked to a couple guys yesterday that seemed pretty confident that we're going to see a lot of sharp Rams money before kickoff. And he was like, if you like the Rams, bet them early in the week. Now it's I genuinely think this is going to be a split line at kickoff. The Bovadas and the SIAs and the William Hills or Coasts and Stations of the world, those guys are going to be at 2.5 or 3. The Pinnacles and Bookmakers and Westgates and South Points, they might be, 2, maybe even 1.5 on New England. There is definitely a dichotomy between where this line is and where it's going, depending on if you're betting at a book that caters to recreational players or you're playing at a book that caters to sharp players, which means, of course, as we say over and over again, for God's sakes, if you have 1 account, open 2. If you have 2 accounts, open 3. If you have 3, open 4. Not everyone can live in Las Vegas, but everyone has access to accounts If you're betting with one bookie, you're doing yourself an enormous disservice at this time of the year, because there is always variance, not just side and total. We talk about these props that we're going to talk about. There's variance at every book in town, and if you don't have the ability to shop for the best number, you're not going to win, period. Not long term.
And, Teddy, I mean, you hit on the side, and we will get to the props in a second. What about this total? Seeing 56 or 56.5. Keep in mind this is in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Has the ability to be climate controlled. Not sure if they made a decision on the roof being open or closed, Teddy, but any opinion here on this total?
It's a fast track. So side-wise, I do have an opinion on this game, and I think me and you are on opposite sides. Maybe we'll debate in a minute. Total-wise, I have absolutely no opinion. I wouldn't be surprised to see this be a high-scoring shootout. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a ball control game, like we saw really from both teams in the championship game. You know, where the Rams try to run the football and burn clock, and the Patriots try to run the football and burn clock. And I know everything went crazy in the fourth quarter of those championship games, but they were both dead nuts under contests prior to the fourth quarter / overtime insanity. So I don't have a strong opinion on the total. Sidewise, I do, and I'm interested. You want to debate with me? We're gonna give everything out here on the pod, or we're gonna make people buy stuff.
Oh, we can give out side and total. I mean, props is what the Super Bowl is all about, right, Teddy?
All right. Well, I saw that you're on the other side. Me and you're on opposite sides of this, and I want you to make a case for New England. All right. That doesn't involve Brady and Belichick. Other than Brady, you say Brady and Belichick, 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 Brady and Belichick have been here before. Brady and Belichick. Make me a case that doesn't involve that, or is that just it? It's just Brady and Belichick, and we just bet on them every Super Bowl.
Without using either of those two B words, it would be a little tough for me to do. But I can make an attempt. I'm
trying to find some rationale for New England besides Brady and Belichick.
Been there before?
Right, Brady and Belichick.
Look, Teddy. I mean, I think that the NFL betting markets are one of the sharpest sports betting markets there is in the world. Therefore, to find an edge is very, very difficult, especially when there's one game with a lot of eyeballs and there's a lot of money being bet on it. I think it is a very, very efficient market. So, therefore, taking all of these opinions and the Rams defensive line and Sean McVay is so smart and Jared Goff went to Cal and he's accurate and on down the line. I think that coming back to the fact that Brady and Belichick have been there before, and they can prepare for the Super Bowl. They know the issues. They know the timing. They know this isn't the normal game of it's going to be an extended anthem, an extended halftime. I think all of those little things matter. It's going to be just a game where you have to find the littlest of edges, and I think that it's there. And to buy it at under 3 in a game where, I think that they can play ball control, and their defense is a little bit underrated, in my opinion. I think that there's value on New England laying under 3 points.
Interesting. You think the defense is under the same defense? Didn't they give up 31 points and a half last week? I could have sworn I saw KC just marching the ball up and down the field. New England had no chance. New England wins the Chiefs win the toss in overtime. I'm pretty sure KC goes down and tosses a touchdown. When we talk about this, and I really wasn't trying to put you on the spot. My concept here was that my whole point is that over and over again, Brady and Belichick. I mean, obviously I said it 15 times in a row, but it's like, well, the Patriots have been here before. Okay, that's Brady and Belichick. They've been here before. Not the whole team, Brady and Belichick. Oh, Brady versus Goff. Of course, New England. Belichick versus anyone. Of course, Belichick. Of course, all of these factors are real, and they are a legitimate case for New England. But I can't find another one. I can't find a personnel situation and say, all right, well, hey, the Patriots are going to do this better than the Rams. Oh, the Patriots are going to, this matchup edge is where New England's going to find it. I didn't see that. And when we think about all these Patriots Super Bowls, this is the 9th one now. You know how many times the favorites covered New England Super Bowls?
I don't know.
One. They covered one of them, and you and I are both, everyone remembers this game because the Patriots trailed 28-3 in that contest and rallied to win in overtime. And you're going to tell me that New England was the right side there. I'm going to just show you what a stick that you can shove up your ass, because the Patriots were not the right side in that game. And certainly, when you talk about a favorite covering in overtime, no favorites are the right side when they cover in overtime, period. But that's the only time in any of the 8 previous Patriots Super Bowls that the favorite covered. Let's talk about the Super Bowl in general. The Super Bowl, the favorites cover in the Super Bowl, they do not. We've had 2 covers in the last 10 years from the favorites in the Super Bowl. One was the aforementioned Patriots rallying from 28-3 down. The other one was Steelers-Packers, Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl title, where Green Bay was -3 in that game. They got out to a lead. They weren't the right side either. Rashard Mendenhall doesn't fumble. The Steelers win that game straight up. Mendenhall fumbled in the fourth quarter. Green Bay ended up winning by 6 and covering. They were, again, I cashed a ticket. They weren't the right side. That's the only favorites that have covered in the last 10 Super Bowls. I can go back further. It hasn't exactly been a great time to lay points. I'll leave it at that. So we have Patriots history. We have Super Bowl history. We have the Brady-Belichick factor on the one side. Well, what about personnel-wise? I mean, I watched, again, the Patriots badly outplayed 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, rallied from behind and stole it. Badly outplayed last year in the Super Bowl, both new school coaches. We talk about Frank Reich as the coordinator for Indy last year. Talking obviously about Kyle Shanahan. I screwed it up on our podcast when I was like, oh, it's McVay. It was fucking Shanahan, and I was embarrassed because people had to point that out to me on Twitter, and I hate when that happens. Thank you for sending that to me. That was a Monday morning hangover deal where I'm confusing Shanahan. Can't be confusing Shanahan and McVay. But New England in these Super Bowls, the 1-1 the last 2 years, they were outplayed both times by the new school coaches. They got another one here. So I think there's some decent cases to be made for the Rams. And, of course, personnel-wise, when we look at what L.A. wants to do, they're balanced offensively. We've seen Goff struggle when the running game doesn't work. I think Anderson and Gurley can move the football on the ground here. And when the running game's working, the play-action game works. And when the play-action game works and they're grinding out drives on offense, the defense works. I think one thing in particular that I think the Rams match up better against the Patriots and the Chiefs did last week is the defensive front. When you talked about, your Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh having the potential to give Tom Brady trouble without blitzing, that's something the Chiefs couldn't do, and obviously it cost them dearly in the end.
Yeah, Teddy. And guys, sorry out there for the audio issues. Just trying to get this podcast out, but hopefully you can hear clearly enough. Going back to your statement just on sides before we get to the props here, which I know a lot of people are interested in. I mean, when you say they were outplayed badly last year, I don't know. I think you're kind of stretching on that, Teddy. And also, when you say take out Brady and Belichick and make your argument, I mean, how unfair of a question is that? That's like saying, take the players off the field, but make your argument for the Rams side there, Teddy. I mean, it's the head coach and the starting quarterback for an NFL team, the two most important things. Take those out of the equation. I mean,
look, obviously, I'm being a little facetious, whether they Brady and Belichick, but so help me, it's just like this whole Brady and Belichick are gods and not humans. No, they're humans. They've lost Super Bowls. They've lost since the 3-0 start. They've lost Super Bowls, more Super Bowls than they won. So it feels to me like that's a circular argument in a lot of ways. Well, the Patriots because of Brady and Belichick. Well, why are the Patriots? It just. So I wasn't trying to. Obviously, I was trying to put you on the spot because we're talking podcast wise. But my only point is that, if you're trying to make a case for New England personnel wise, it's difficult to do. The case we made for the Patriots is, they've been here before. They've got the coach. They've got the quarterback, and that's certainly a very reasonable case to make for New England. But that's the only case I can make for them. You talk about last year. I mean, come on. At no point in last year's game were the Patriots the right side. Their defense couldn't get stops and didn't get stops throughout. And Philly was the better team from the get-go. Would you disagree with that?
I think that they lost the game, but I don't know if I would say they were badly outplayed.
They got beat pretty good.
They lost
they were never in position. I mean, they trailed wire to wire. They were never in position to win the game or cover the point spread. Were they?
Well, let's talk about a little bit more relevant of this year's. Let's say we got what L.A. They lost to New Orleans in that high scoring affair. Other than that, out of their last couple games here, is there any other games in the schedule that kind of worry you of what you've seen out of the Rams to maybe not cover this 2.5 points?
I mean, the Bears game worries me. That's the one that really stands. That's the one that Goff couldn't do anything. But that was in conditions. And I think the track here matters. Indoors, in Atlanta, fast track. That matters. That doesn't benefit New England. This outdoors on grass today, that's Patriots love that. Slow down the fast team. I don't know that that's going to be the case, obviously, in this meeting.
All right, well, let's talk some props. What do you say, Teddy?
Absolutely.
All right, coin toss. What do you like?
I like not to make that wager. Hey, they're like, look, we'll give it you at reduced juice. You get a 50-50 prop and only lay 103 or 105 or even 102. Negative expectation wager. Knock yourself out. What do you like for the coin flip? The best thing we've got all this great historical data that we can talk through the, over at Wager Talk. They put up that great Super Bowl prop results for for this decade, dating back to Super Bowl 44. You can get a lot of the main things. So what do we have? We don't have heads or tails on there, but we have everybody defers when they win. The last, except for the Saints, back in Super Bowl 44, were the last team to win the toss and then take the ball. Everyone else defers. I know the Patriots defer every time, pretty much as well, although they didn't against the Chargers in the opening round of the playoffs, which maybe worth considering here.
Yeah, interesting there. If they go back to that, because they played so well in that game. We got first play, pass, rush, penalty. Anything on there?
Well, I mean, the last 4 years has all been the pass is the first play, and usually pass is short favorite here when it's three-way line, pass versus run versus penalty. But pass has clearly been the way to go in recent seasons. I'm not convinced that's going to be the case this year. Obviously, there are two teams that, in many ways in the postseason, have devised a run-first game plan, although New England's run-first has a lot to do with short passes to their running backs.
And, Teddy, let me ask another question here. Do you remember any weather issues in any of the Super Bowls in the last, say, 10 years?
What was the one that was in the rain? That's Colts Bears. That's a long time ago.
Okay, so that was the last one, that one in Miami?
That's the one that stands out to me as being played in a quagmire. Okay.
Just to throw something out there, playing quarterback in the past, that can affect the first play because it's way more likely to be a pass if it's a rainy atmosphere because the quarterback, that's the driest ball you'll have. So they're likely to try a pass a lot more often when it's a rainy issues. What about team to score first wins the game, Teddy?
Well, that's worth noting that game that was played in in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Seahawks and the Broncos, which was not obviously good weather in that contest. That was a game in which the first play was a safety, but it was supposed to be a pass, I believe. Remember the bad snap to Manning. That certainly paid off 100-to-1 tickets, and the bookmakers did not enjoy that one. I'm sorry. What was your next question?
Well, we can talk safety. Yes, at plus 650 or something. No, at minus 1,000. Anything on there?
All right. Look, the safety prop and the overtime prop. All right. These are your. I'm not going to say they're the squarest props out there, but they're the squarest props out there. Okay. Everybody wants to bet a little to win a lot. Safety. They had safeties 3 years in a row in the Super Bowl. Well, that was 5 years ago. It's been 4 straight years without a safety. And the math on this says the yes should be plus 1,500, no big line, and you're getting plus 600. So knock yourself out. You want to bet the safety? It's a bad wager. It is not a positive expectation wager. Same story with overtime. Obviously, we saw both OT games last week. There's been one overtime in the history of Super Bowls. Even with a close point spread, it's not likely to happen here. if you're looking to bet a little to win a lot, there are other ways to get around that. Maybe you look at an MVP wager, something like that, as opposed to these tried and true props. Now, the other side isn't any good either. Did you read that Bill Barnwell column where he writes and whines about, I lost the no safety prop 2 years in a row, and I laid minus 1,300, and I'm so unlucky. I thought I was sharp, and no, that's not. The sharp side is not laying 1,000 to win, laying 10 to win 1. I understand if you have a giant bankroll, and that's what you're trying to do, and you're trying to eke up your bankroll, yeah, sure. If you're a syndicate with $1 million bankroll, maybe you make that bet. If you're a regular bettor with a 4-figure bankroll or a 3-figure bankroll, even a 5-figure bankroll, no freaking way I make the no safety or no OT bet, because you're risking so much to win so little, and they do happen. So those are the type of bets that I throw out. Don't even look at it. Don't sweat it. There's 450 props at every sports book you can find, and everyone fixates on safety and overtime. There are better scores out there. There are, in my mind, better options out there than betting the no or the yes on those particular props.
Okay, I like your analysis on that. What about score in the first 6 minutes of the game?
This is one I like a lot. And I like it for this year's Super Bowl. I tend to bet the no with this prop, and given the matchups, I like the no even more this year. And be careful, okay? I shouldn't say be careful, but no, some books have this priced 5 minutes, some 5.5, some 6, some 6.5. 6.5 to no score, you get a nice plus price. And let's not forget, the Patriots, we saw what they did against the Chargers. They got the opening kickoff. They marched the ball down the field. They punched into the end zone. Was there a score in the first 6.5 minutes? No, there was not. Against the Chiefs, they took the opening kickoff. They marched the ball down the field into the end zone. Was there a score in the first 6.5 minutes? No, there was not. So even if the team gets the ball, marches down the field into the end zone, doesn't mean it's going to be a touchdown. Or it doesn't mean that this prop is going to cash. And, of course, if you see a punt before a score, you're looking in pretty good shape here. The way the Super Bowl plays out, and everyone's talking about the Patriots haven't scored in any first quarters in any Super Bowls, blah, blah, blah. I'm not convinced that's the case this time here, but the no score first 5.5, 6.5 minutes, whichever one gives you the best return on your investment. And I saw the difference between being favored and dogs, between 5.5 and 6.5 minutes. Maybe you spread it out. Bet some under 5.5, bet some under 6, bet some under 6.5 if you have those options. But certainly, those are the types of wagers that make sense to me. First score, a score in the first 6 minutes of the game hasn't cashed the last 2 years, or no score the first last 2 years, and in 6 of the last 9, the no score in the first 6 minutes has cashed as well.
You know what surprised me, going off that Ralph Michaels chart here, there was no score in that first quarter of the Atlanta-New England game, and then Atlanta must have pounded them in the second quarter.
Yes, they did.
We got team to score last wins the game, Teddy. How do you like that prop?
Well, and this one comes down to how you feel the game is going to play out. Because if somebody's up by multiple scores, they're not necessarily going to score last. If you think somebody has a chance to win this game by multiple scores, then you take a shot with the team that scores last not to win the game at the nice plus price. I did a video yesterday. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be Rams 38-13. Because everyone was like, it's going to be a 1-point game. It's going to be tight. I'm like, look, it might be a blowout. And it might be. But certainly that your opinion on how the game is going to play. If it's going to be tight, the team to score last much more likely to win the game than if it's a blowout scenario.
Teddy, one that I like, I just find very interesting. Defensive or special teams touchdown? Yes, plus 145. No, minus 175. Any opinion to get involved here?
Well, the math guys are all betting the no. No. That's what they do. The price on this is supposed to be higher. All that being said, when you look at the recent history of Super Bowls and the recent history of postseason games, and these two teams, you can make a case for the yes here at the plus price. You really can. There has been a defensive or special teams touchdown 6 times in the last 9 Super Bowls. So it happens more than people expect it to. Say, oh, Tom Brady doesn't throw picks. Tom Brady threw 3 picks last week. One of them got called back on a pretty important penalty by Dee Ford. But, Brady threw a pick deep in his own territory. He threw a pick in the opposing end zone, and he threw a pick that should have ended the game. So, could Brady throw a pick that's bad? Yeah, he could. Goff, we saw what happened when Goff faced a good defense. We've seen him look a little dicey at times. Could we see a pick 6 from L.A.? Sure, we could. So, you're taking a shot at a plus price. I understand. I wouldn't talk you out of that one. It's not one that's going to make it into my pocket because the math on it's not right. But if I had to play that prop, I'm taking the yes before I'm laying any price with the no.
Teddy, I got an interesting one here. This is a plus return on yes, and it's hit the last 3 and 7 of the last 9 years. 2-point conversion attempt. Yes, plus 155. No, minus 185. Yes is hit, man. So would you take another shot here with the plus 155 on yes, 2-point conversion attempt?
Well, everybody took a shot with the plus 155 and the plus 145 and the plus 135 and the plus 125. That number's gone way down. All that being said, yes, I'm taking it, especially when you talk about 2-point attempt. Not 2-point conversion, 2-point attempt. It's a similar story with 4th down attempt in this ballgame. We think about this as a matchup of 2 coaches who we respect, 2 coaches who we admire, 2 coaches who are firmly in the advanced metric side of the equation. And when you talk about 2 coaches that get it, you're talking about teams that are going to go for it on 4th down. And when they go for it on 4th down, they have a decent chance of converting. And you talk about teams that are going to try for 2 and the 2-point conversion. I like the attempt rather than the execution thereof, because then if they try it, you're not sweating it. Obviously, the price is different, but New England's been real good at defending 2-pointers this year. So I'd rather have the attempt than the successful 2-point conversion, even though you have to lay a price with the, or you may have to lay a price with the yes by kickoff.
Teddy, OT, yes, plus 650, no, minus 1,000. That's the numbers I'm seeing. You got any opinion here on will the game go to overtime or not?
Overtime and safety are the same bet. This is called this is your sharp square test, all right? Anyone that's betting the yes on these props is not, literally. If someone's betting the yes on those props, you can, all right, this is a recreational bettor. This is not a bettor who is, or whatever. You're allowed to have fun on the Super Bowl. But if you're making, they're not bets that any professional would make, ever. The yeses on those, because the math on them is not just off; it's way off, because they know everyone's looking for the big plus prices.
What about longest touchdown, pass minus 145, or other plus 115?
Well, if you think there's going to be a decent chance of a defensive special teams score, you may not want to use the pass for that. You may want to look at the plus price. This is a way that you can find, we talk about correlations, we talk about derivative wagers. When you have an opinion on one particular facet of the game, hey, these are defenses that can score. Hey, these are defenses that can create turnovers and create big plays. If you have that one thought process, you can find all types of different wagers to get to that same concept in different ways. And this here is certainly one of them.
Teddy, you were talking about interceptions, Jared Goff not looking good. Seeing a prop here, combined interceptions 1.5, over plus 145, under minus 175. I'm thinking you like this press price on the over.
I do, and also like the first turnover of the game is one that interests me. Fumble versus interception, and interception is short chalk over fumble. I think it's minus 150 range. But of course, remember, every time you throw an interception, the other team gets the ball automatically. Every time you fumble, well, sometimes the other team gets the ball, sometimes they don't. So even though you say, oh, why are you laying a price with the interception over the fumble? That's why. And of course, in a game where we have one quarterback that threw 3 picks last week and the other quarterback that hasn't shown me enough on the biggest stages and against the best defenses to make me think he's not going to throw one here. Yeah, I would take the over in interceptions, and I would look at the first turnover of the game to be an interception as opposed to a fumble.
And Teddy, what about some of these extra props, so to speak? Like, and these are, I believe, only on the offshore sports books, just because it kind of takes a human to grade them. But who will the Super Bowl MVP mention first in his speech? God, family, or owner, city, coach? Do you get involved with any of those?
Hell no. And look, okay, you're taking a degree of uncertainty. Okay, here's a Super Bowl MVP. All right. You want to make a bet on the MVP? Fine. Make a bet on the MVP. Now you got to pick the MVP and try to handicap what he's going to say? I mean, flip your coin, man. You know, I mean, it's not, I don't see a lot of positive expectation in many of these type of wagers. You want a good wager? I'll give you a good one. Shortest touchdown, under 1.5 yards. That cashes not every year, many years. Cash 5 of the last 6. People say, oh, well, they get to the 1 yard line. How do they get to the 1 yard? They have to stop at the 1. No. Every pass interference in the end zone, you get the ball at the 1. You score a touchdown, you cash that prop. There's a prop that's worth making, not, you want to bet how long the national anthem's going to be? Knock yourself out,
I think that's beatable.
Recreational-sized wagers, okay? Not, I'm going to make money-sized wagers. You can bet $20 on anything you want to bet $20 on, no problem. You're starting to bet real money. Be aware of what positive expectation is and what type of bets are just action only.
What about what will be the first song performed by Maroon 5 in the halftime show?
If you got someone that's like you got a good source, I got no problem with using your source. Hey, someone's down there watching the previews. I forget there was one year that I had somebody that was like, yeah, they're going to play this first, and I'm all right, and then they did. I really don't remember, but if you got inside info is great, if you can get it, but it better be inside info. It better be good info, because if not, you're going to be a lot more confident making the bet than you should be. All this stuff is handicapable. It's just a matter of, do you want to put the time and effort into the handicapping?
And it's about, information, like which commercial will appear first, avocados from Mexico or, something from Kraft Heinz.
Yeah.
If you can get the information, that takes a lot of research to get in the back end of the television station, putting on the game, right? It just, you got to know the people, right, Teddy?
Hey, look, good info is good info. And you say, well, what's the difference between betting sports, especially in Las Vegas, and betting sports, not as an amateur in Peoria? And you say it's information, man. I mean, we have time to. If you're doing this full time, you're digging. That's my job, is to dig for info. 2, you develop over the years. You develop a real network of good contacts. Both here in Vegas and across the country. And 3 is that, if you want to work on some of these projects, you got time to do the research and dig. But if you're just going to make the bet, I think, good luck. Good luck with the I thinks. You want to be making the bets on I'm pretty sure's, not I thinks.
And last one here that I wanted to throw out, longest TD, 48.5 yards, over or under, Teddy?
Well, if you're going to go for the longest play being a defensive or special teams TD, all right, you're probably not going to take the under in this particular prop. And we've seen the long, and 48.5. I mean, to me, it's not anything I'm close to betting. The under is cashed in 3 of the last 4 years, but on the other hand, we've had 82-yard, 87, and 108-yard touchdowns within the last 6 years in the Super Bowl. So I don't see a lot in that makes me excited about getting involved with that particular wager. If I had to bet it, I would probably bet the under.
Good stuff, Teddy. And guys, if you're listening on Tuesday, it's $2 Tuesday. Brent Crow's top play is just discounted to just $2 on sportsmemo.com. Teddy also has a 5% play up, as do myself, in college basketball. Teddy, what else do you want to throw out on this Super Bowl prop betting podcast?
Oh gosh, I mean, we'll have a chance to. We'll talk a little bit more on Thursday and talk about whatever's happened in the markets since then. But I mean, the basic message has got to be the same. Have fun with the Super Bowl. Okay, you want to make 100 bets? Make 100 bets, but make them small. It's okay to have action all day. It's a betting holiday, but it is not a day to burn your bankroll in half. So bet with, what's the old expression? Bet with your head, not over it. That's very, very real this week. That being said, there's money to be made. I think there's money to be made. I expect to make some money. Hopefully you will too. Get on board with any of the packages at sportsmemo.com and see if we can help you on your way to a profitable Super Bowl Sunday.
And Teddy will have his prop package up on the front page of sportsmemo.com, $59. We'll have that up by the end of the day today, Tuesday, January 29th, before the Super Bowl. So, guys, check that out. Also, we got a coupon code 10 off. Take $10 off of that prop package or any play up at sportsmemo.com using the coupon code 10OFF. That's 10 off at checkout for $10 off of your purchase. Thank you, Teddy, for the time breaking down the props and the Super Bowl. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow with some college basketball with Robbie Vino. Thanks for tuning in.
The outcome of Brexit may not be certain, but one thing is clear. Your business could face serious challenges. Enterprise Ireland's wide range of supports will help you plan, innovate, compete, and diversify. Speak to your Enterprise Ireland Development Advisor or visit prepareforbrexit.ie, an initiative of the Government of Ireland. The outcome of Brexit may not be certain, but one thing is clear. Your business could face serious challenges. Enterprise Ireland's wide range of supports will help you plan, innovate, compete, and diversify. Speak to your Enterprise Ireland Development Advisor or visit prepareforbrexit.ie, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.